Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu for this Saturday, we have Chaos Field. So Chaos Field is a vertical scrolling shoot 'em up developed by Milestone. Originally for the Sega Naomi arcade hardware, it was ported to the Dreamcast, the GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and then later included on a collection for the Wii, the Ultimate Shooting Collection, which is the version that we're going and playing. So what kind of taste will this shoot 'em up go and have? Let's get cooking and find out. So after going and starting the game, we're going and giving a brief tutorial about how the game goes and works. We'll skip past that. I'll go and cover, I think, most of it in the course of my gameplay. Then we're taken to a character select. So we've got 3 characters that we can go and select from, and each goes and pilots a different fighter. There's Hal and his mixed blue fighter, Jean and the fake yellow, and then Ifumi and the flawed red. So we'll go and start off with fighter 1, the mixed blue. Each of the 3 fighters does go and have some unique characteristics. The mixed blue is the most balanced of them. Then you go and have the flawed red, which is focused more on maneuverability, and its weapon is a homing weapon. And then you go and have the more powerful striking ship, the flawed yellow. Or not the flawed yellow, fake yellow, my bad. So, rather than being a standard vertical scrolling shoot 'em up, Chaos Field feels much more like a constant boss rush. All the stages are focused around these long boss fights that we go and engage in. So if you're the kind of shoot 'em up fan that goes and likes boss fights and boss rushes, then this title is definitely for you. So we've got our primary shot, but in addition to that, we also go and have a neat, very radiant silver gun-like sword that has the ability to go and clear most of the shots that the enemies go and fire. Really handy for going and getting yourself out of a pinch. In addition, if you can go and get close enough, it does go and deal some decent damage. There's also a button/attack that goes and changes your field, and I'll get to that in just a second. And then a couple attacks that go and result from button combinations. The wing layer, as it's called, which, for the case of the mixed blue, goes and sends out this nice little orb that goes and defends us from shots, as well as it goes and deals damage. And then there's also the lock-on shot. And then there's one of the key mechanics that's kind of the namesake of the game itself, the field change, which goes and takes us from the order field that we're in to the chaos field. So the biggest difference between the 2 fields are our power as well as the enemy's power. So our ship's power goes and actually increases when we go and change from the order field to the chaos field, and the way our attacks ultimately go and handled does change a little bit. But at the same time, the boss's attacks also go and get significantly more fierce when we're in the order field. So it's definitely a risk-reward system. And going and knowing when it's appropriate to go and be in one, when it's appropriate to go and be in the other, and also when to go and change is very key to going and playing this title. As when you go and change fields, it does go and clear the enemy shots, or rather resets them. Incidentally, there is a timer at the top of the screen for every boss that we're going and fighting. It is possible to go and time out on the bosses, and the boss will just go and move on. You'll move to the next segment of the stage. So if you're looking for more of a pacifist style run, that's totally possible with this one, and that's an intriguing prospect. Especially since we do go and have the sword wipe, which goes and helps protect us from some of the bullets that we might go and possibly encounter. One thing I did forget to go and mention while I was mentioning the lock-on shot and the wing layer is they go and take up charges that we go and get from those power-ups that you might have been seeing drop from destroyed enemy sections. Collect 10 of those and we go and get a power bar segment on the left there. We can go and store up to 10, and once we go and use one of those, it goes and depletes that. Also, this game goes and employs a shield system, not a life system. We go and start the title with a total of, well, you can go and set the number of shields up to 5 that you go and start with. But as we go and get hit, we go and lose our shield, not lives. But if we go and lose all of our shield, which I will actually attempt to go and do here, then we'll game over and be forced to continue, if we want to continue, of course. Get to go and enter in my initials. Yay! We are fit for Fitaurus. Alright, moving on to going and showing off some of the other fighters. So that was Hal, so now we're going to go and move on to the to Ifumi and the Flawed Red. So this ship is more focused on maneuverability, and its primary attack are these awesome homing laser sticks. Or at least that's what they are in the order field. If we go and switch to the chaos field, those homing sticks go and become just laser sticks that go and deal some pretty decent damage. We can just go and sit them over to the enemy. So it really depends on what you're going to looking to accomplish, though. Because if you are using them in a homing capacity, then we do have a lot more freedom of movement around the stage while still going and dealing damage to the enemy. In addition to that, her lock-on is more of a circular lock-on, and her wing layer are these orbs of fire that rotate us and go and clear enemy bullets that they happen to go and hit. Really useful. Alright, that's the first boss of Phase 2. Moving on to Boss 2. So our attack patterns that we're dealing with here are definitely very much on the bullet hell side of a shoot 'em up, but with the ability to go and clear shots with the sword, I feel that it's a lot easier to go and deal with. There are some shots that we can't clear, of course, as it would go and be too overly powerful if it made it so that we could go and clear all bullets from our path. Let's go ahead and change to the chaos field, maybe take this guy out just a little bit faster. But all those colors, all those enemy shots, beautiful stuff. Alright, second boss of Phase 2, destroyed. Caution is going indicating that we're on to, cautions is indicating that we're on to our final boss of the phase. Just going and dodging some fun puffs here. Puff, puff. So it's neat when you're going and switching between fields on this particular boss. One quick moment while we go and get fit. Is the boss itself actually goes and has some physical appearance changes when we go and jump fields. We'll jump to Jin's ship so we can go and show off all three. And as I get back in there, I'll go ahead and change the field back to order so you can kind of see what I mean. The top goes and comes down. So Jin's ship, the fake yellow, goes and has a charge shot that goes and explodes into electric splashes that do go and deal a lot of damage. But at least in the basic field, it is pretty short range, so you have to go and be kind of close in on the enemy. It is also slower than the other two ships, so you have to go and be careful with it. But it does go and deal a significant amount of damage. Then for our wing layer, we go and have these little shock orbs that we go and send out throughout the course of the entire stage. And the lock-on is a neat sweep that goes and swings into the middle, locking on the various parts of the enemy and sending our lock-in shots to go and deal massive damage. Wow, I definitely took a little bit too much damage there. Come on, Gene, you can go and finish this up. So while his shot is powerful, it is a short range. Going and changing to the chaos field does go and give us a little bit more range to go and play with. So if you're actually playing with Gene, it might actually go and be better to go and use the chaos field to your advantage, is you have the ability to go and be further back and still go and inflicting your massive damage. That, and of course, the shots themselves are more powerful. The splash damage is bigger and deals a lot more damage to the enemies. And that's it for Phase 2. Alright, so that'll basically go and wrap up my look at Chaos Field. As I said, if you're a fan of boss rushes especially, this is definitely a game to go and check out if you're not already familiar with it. It has a really good pedigree as well, as Milestone is actually a company that was formed by former Compile members, the people that were responsible for titles like Gunnak, the Arestes and Lucia series, as well as Zanuck. So definitely worth going and checking out, if for no other reason but just the crazy bosses. And with the variety that the ships go and have as well, you can go and kind of pick the one that goes and fits your play style. So definitely one that I would go and recommend looking into, and especially where it's available on a collection for the Wii, and the Ultimate Shooting Collection also has some other excellent titles from Milestone. Then it's that much easier to go and recommend. So thank you so much for coming out and joining me today for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, if you don't have other recommendations for Shoot 'em Up Saturday or other games that you think I should go and check out, by all means, please leave those in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me, and I look forward to going and seeing you again next week.